Earvin Magic Johnson Jr. is a former professional basketball player from the United States. Johnson, the son of an auto worker, earned the nickname Magic in high school. He got it for his imaginative and entertaining ball handling. Magic Johnson is widely regarded as the greatest point guard in NBA history. He won 5 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers throughout 13 seasons. Magic learned how to navigate his public and private personas as he made a name for himself on and off the court. On November 7th, 1991, Johnson shocked the world by abruptly retiring from the Los Angeles Lakers. He had tested positive for HIV, the virus that causes AIDS.
The HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
HIV and AIDS were at an all-time high at that time. HIV, or human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that attacks the immune system. Historically, HIV was most commonly transmitted through sex, needle sharing, drug use, and birth. The disease swept across the United States and the rest of the world in the 1980s and early 1990s. Unfortunately, Magic was one of the millions of people affected by the epidemic, leaving the world speechless.
We need to find somebody who's living with HIV so they can help me understand what I'll be going through living with this disease.
The 1980s and 1990s saw one of the worst deaths caused by HIV. According to the World Health Organization, more than 70 million people have been infected. Many Americans thought of AIDS as a gay white man's disease at the time. Johnson, black and heterosexual, was one of the first athletes to disclose his HIV status publicly.
So nobody's immune. No kid, no grown-up, black, white, Latino, Asian, nobody's immune from HIV.
However, since the beginning of the epidemic, black Americans have been disproportionately affected. Black people account for a much higher proportion of HIV diagnosis. Black women, youth, and gay and bisexual men have been particularly hard hit among black Americans. Poverty and lack of access to health care are factors contributing to the epidemic among black people.
The African American and Latino community in a big way when you think about HIV and AIDS,
yes,
because
sir.
over 1 million people are living with it right now.
Johnson believed the virus was a death sentence at the time of his diagnosis. He stated, "I had to learn a lot about the disease, both HIV and AIDS." Johnson first became aware of his condition following a pre-NBA season physical in 1991-92.
The HIV and AIDS fight is still there. We got to continue to educate people, continue to make sure that
His return from a preseason match in Utah was requested so that Lakers team doctor Dr. Michael Melman could personally break the news to him. Johnson described his initial reaction to the news as being devastated. Magic stated, "Dr. Ho and Dr. Fauci calmed me down because I thought I was going to die. It was one of the most challenging days of his life."
Dr. Fauci, Dr. Ho, they both really helped me to be here. They helped me understand that I had to take my meds.
Johnson later revealed he contracted HIV through unprotected sex. He added, "I'm not a person who looks back. I don't dwell on the past." Magic reveals that the virus nearly killed him, and he even considered suicide. Following the diagnosis, Magic and his agent, Lon Rosen, recall a beach walk they took together. Magic told him, "I was telling him if anything happens, you make sure you take care of my family." Adding, "I guess I gotta stop playing basketball." Magic continued. At one point, Magic said, "I don't know if I want to live. I might just end it. I might just..." Rosen also recalled a conversation with Dr. David Ho, an AIDS researcher. He revealed the severity of the disease. According to Ho, Earvin was very ill with a T-cell count of 203. Rosen spoke, "At that point, you're on what's called the line," adding, "At 200, you're at AIDS." He talked about the life expectancy of 2-3 years at most. Also doubted his T-cell count would protect him from infections for another 5 years.
I met Earvin on one of his darkest days when he found out he was HIV positive.
Johnson was at the lowest point of his life, only thinking about his family. Magic said, "I thought I was facing death. I didn't sleep. I was just thinking, is this the last time Cookie is going to be in my arms?" The scariest part about finding out he had HIV was breaking the news to his beloved wife, Cookie. He said, "It was hard because I loved her so much and I hated to hurt her." Since he hadn't received blood transfusions, Cookie recognized it was probably through sexual contact. Since HIV could be transmitted through birth, Cookie was concerned about another issue. The couple had just found out about her pregnancy and had recently married. They had first met as college students at Michigan State University in the 1970s. When the test results for his wife and the baby were negative, Johnson said it was a relief. He said, "Yes, because I was scared to death. I wanted to make sure that she was going to be okay, the baby was going to be okay." Cookie supported her husband through everything, but because of the stigma, she first opposed him holding the news conference on November 7, 1991, in which he announced his diagnosis.
It's about raising awareness level. It's about making sure that your family members know, that kids in your neighborhood know about HIV and AIDS.
She said people weren't educated at that time. She added, "And I didn't want us to be treated like lepers by others." However, together the couple went through the disease. Johnson was initially against the idea, but now he views it as life's significant experience. It showed him how to cooperate with someone who doesn't look like him. He said, "It taught me how to work alongside somebody who doesn't look like me." Adding, "And what I would find out later is that the way America is." When Magic Johnson was diagnosed, HIV and AIDS still carried a lot of stigmas. Johnson played a significant role in lowering that stigma. He found a method to live with the illness and started playing basketball again. He participated in the 1992 NBA All-Star Game and the Olympic Dream Team. It turned out to be the best choice, he said. It supported those who could live productive lives while having any illness, not just HIV and AIDS.
The HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
His comeback received mixed responses. Some players find it unpleasant to play with an athlete who is HIV positive. Even one of his Olympic teammates, Karl Malone, voiced anxiety about facing Johnson. Ultimately, he took another retirement before making one final comeback to his beloved sport in 1996. "I told Cookie, I said, you know what?" Johnson stated, "Maybe I might consider playing one more time. I want to end it the proper way. And that's why I returned," he added. "I brought it to a close the way I wanted to." And then he finally started to change his focus. Johnson worked hard to treat his HIV. Researchers have created several medications to assist folks like Johnson block and confine the infection. According to Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy, Johnson was extremely fortunate. Magic was able to live with and manage the virus. He survived for years without the 1996 introduction of a potent triple combination therapy. The combination was able to extend the lives of many people with HIV. Johnson said, "They assured me that the 3-drug combination was going to save my life, and they were right." He added, "It's been 30 years and I'm still here, healthy. Everything has gone right." Johnson was given the then experimental medicine combo in 1994. According to Leap for Life's Little Mysteries, Magic got a head start on experimental treatments. As the CEO of his investment firm, Johnson now commands respect in the boardroom. His firm focuses on giving high-quality goods and services to neglected regions. It's been 30 years since Magic tested positive for HIV, and he's thriving. However, he also needs to take his medication every day, even if his HIV is still undetectable. He said, "A cocktail once a day." It went from 3 times a day, now just once, and so everything is great. Magic Johnson survived HIV, even though he was going through rough circumstances. This shows us just how important it is to take medication seriously